freaking out. So, you know how I pitched backstage to that production company? I've just had an email back from their creative director, and I can't see the full message, but I'm panicking. I'm like, oh my god, he hated it. How embarrassing.
Flashback.
So good morning. It is Wednesday, the 23rd. I don't really know. Today is like a milestone in my creative career because I'm pitching backstage for the first time to a production company, and I'm really excited about it.
8 hours later.
So, as we know, I had a pitch intro conversation today, and I went into work and I was feeling all kinds of like nervousness and excitement, like lots of excitement. And you know when it's just like that feeling before where you're like, I don't quite know what's going to happen or like what to expect, but I know my stuff. And it was also like, it was very light work, because what was the aim of the meeting for me? The aim of the meeting for me was for them to want to read the script. Essentially, that was all I needed to get out of that meeting. To give them an introduction to myself, to give them an introduction to the script, enough that they would want to read it, enough that they would be interested to read it. And so, success! Went up to his office, had a lovely chat, and he was just really lovely, just super chill. We were just having a conversation about the kind of projects that they have in development. I told him a just very top line that I used to work at QVC, and that I've written a mockumentary that is based in that world. And he was like, well, I'd love to read. Like, it was very, I didn't really give him anything else other than that. So he's going in pretty cold once he reads it. But yeah, just talking about like my writing style and how I work writing around work, with like doing an hour in the morning before work and then doing like 5 hours over the weekend. Do you know what would have been good to drop in? Like how much I've been able to write over a weekend. So it's sort of like, yeah, I could write a sitcom over a weekend, basically. Like, I've done that before. So I feel like I was selling myself, pitching myself more as a writer than anything else. And hopefully that was received. Oh, one of the things I did ask him as well, which was really good, was about their development process, or how they work with like writers. Like, what does that, because I was like, oh, that process looks a bit murky to me, I don't quite understand it. And he was saying that if they get sent a script that they like, or with anyone that they sort of work with, they will normally option the script and they will pay an option fee to do that. And in most instances, they'll want like a rewrite of the script based on like the feedback they have to give. In some cases, the script might be perfect already, so they won't. Oh, fireworks. He was like, they would pay an option fee, get a rewrite. They would take that to a commissioner. And then the commissioner would probably want a rewrite. It would go through like development with the commissioner, and then sometimes you go through development with the commissioner and then they're like, no, you don't want this. So then they take it to another commissioner and do the same process over again until it gets greenlit, effectively, which was a really interesting thing to understand. And he also made the point, because I asked him like how big their development slate is, and I think he said they have like 14 projects on at the moment. And but they've had like up to 25 projects on, because they move so differently in terms of pace, and you just sort of like have a mental sense of like what needs to be done and where, but it's not like go on all 25 all at the same time. Development is a very long process, and so that was a good point. Yeah, though, it was really good. Like, I really enjoyed talking to him, and he seemed really cool. I've sent the script to him. Hopefully the best thing that can happen will happen. I release it to the powers that be, because I've done my part. So Regina messaged me this morning and she was just like, you're gonna be great, don't worry, And then afterwards I met her and I was like, they want to read the script, and she was like, of course they do. So again, you can never underestimate the people like that in your corner who are super excited for you and want to see you win and all the things. So yeah.
Several months later.
Okay, I'm freaking out. So, you know how I pitched backstage to that production company? I've just had an email back from their creative director, and I can't see the full message, but I'm panicking. I'm like, oh my god, he hated it. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. I was going to read it, but then I thought, when I get back in, maybe then I'll read it and we can, you know, you can console me. We can console together my pain of reading the feedback about, you know, someone who actually works in comedy reading my script. Oh God, how disastrous. Anyway, I just thought to myself, maybe I should go to get a coffee before I head back in. I can't remember where that place is though. Is it down again? I've got to find it.
Five minutes later.
Okay, I'm back. I've got my coffee, which I've mugged. I love it. I got this from this Colombian coffee shop. It's called a Barraquito, and it's got like lemon and condensed milk and cinnamon and nutmeg and other things. I just got it for the condensed milk. You know, condensed milk is a strong addition to coffee actually. If it wasn't so sugary, I would do it all the time. But anyway, as I mentioned when I was out, I've got an email about backstage that I sent him to read. I am very nervous, so let's do this together. I was trying to talk myself down. Trying to talk myself down when I was going to get a coffee, and I was like, look, what's the worst that he can say is like, yeah, it's not for us, here's some feedback on how you can make it better. Well, no, I was like, the worst he could say is, oh my god, this is awful, this is a complete waste of my time, why did I read this? I don't think it's likely he would have emailed me that. But anyway, let's read this out loud together. Pain. That's why I feel pain. Okay, let's go. Oh my god, that's not it. Hope all wonderful, and that January has been nothing but champagne and almond croissants. So sorry for taking so long to read the script, but I've done so. Loads to love here, tons of jokes, distinctive characters, all with their own comic attitude and voice. Millie's an engaging protagonist, and she's a great POV for various monsters and plot twists that populate. Just a couple of thoughts, which you can ignore if you like. Firstly, it's a long episode, maybe just a bit too busy. You introduce a lot of ideas and characters, and apart from the Ben storyline, it can feel a bit sketchy. It would be great to tighten it and focus so it feels a bit more propulsive. Perhaps there's a ticking clock on one of the storylines. Maybe you need a couple of the smaller stories to pay off or feel like more of a side-to-side narrative, i.e. Julian's pranking rather than just feeling like a series of cheeky incidents. Are they building to something? If you can get the script under 35 pages, I think that would be good. Secondly, and not much you can do about this, it's a playful satire on the TV world. Is quite a difficult thing to get away right now. There's a focus on shows about real people, real lives, and the telly world just feels a bit inward looking for commissioners. Stephen Moffat is given license to make Douglas is cancelled, but it would be tough to get away with something on similar terrain. But as a sample script, it's a great number, very enjoyable, funny and polished. Keep going. Sorry it took ages to come back. See you soon.
Thousands of tears later.
Well, that was nice. It's not anywhere near as bad as my brain was catastrophizing that it would be. So that is good. I think that the differentiation he made, like as a spec script, that's fine. But in terms of like actual commerciality of it, because of where it's focused, it's hard to get away with. And I can understand that. That's an interesting insight. And I think he was like, you know, saying like, because with Douglas is cancelled, yes, it's inward looking, but because it's Stephen Moffat, he can get away with it. I think that's a fair point. And I think those points around tightening it up, making sure it's building to something, those are all really helpful. Let me respond to that now, actually. Sorry guys, thanks so much for the feedback. It's really helpful to get perspective on this work as I'm currently revising the script to submit for BBC Comedy Collective. Also very good to understand the commercial landscape and that more broadly satire on TV industry is tough to sell at the moment. I've actually got a friendship-based sitcom that I'm developing, so you've just inspired me to keep... It's so helpful to hear what you think worked and what can be improved as I'm currently revising the script to submit to BBC Comedy Collective this week. Oh my god, I've been here for half an hour. Okay, I really need to send this email. Also, thank you for sharing that insight on Thank you for sharing that insight on the commercial difficulties around getting satirical shows on the TV industry made. I've actually got a friendship-based sitcom I'm developing, so you've just inspired me to keep moving that one forward as well. Hope filming goes well. Okay, I've just sent it, finally.
11 minutes later.
I'm not disappointed. I feel like my ideal outcome off the back of that would have been like, yeah, would love to, like, let's have a meeting, come in, let's have a chat. Let's have like a follow-up meeting because I've already met them. I feel good. Loads opens with loads to love here. What's to complain about that? Loads to love here, tons of jokes, distinctive characters. And you know what's funny? And I don't know, like maybe that's, I'm also quite a cynical person unless we haven't identified already. But I never take like the, compliments on board too much because I'm like, oh, you know, what if they're just saying it to say it sort of thing. But people have said to me on multiple occasions about liking the characters. That does feel quite good. I think the commerciality point is interesting actually, because that's something I didn't know about how the industry feels about those kind of scripts. A playful satire on the TV world is quite a difficult thing to get away right now. There's a focus on shows about real people, real lives, and the telly world just feels a bit inward looking for commissioners. But that's good, because my second script, the found family one that I'm working on, is much more that. Interesting. So real people, real lives. Okay, that's a good point. But yeah, that gives me like, okay, so found family, that is what people are looking for. So I should probably prioritize working on that script. But, and I mean, I can. Maybe when I'm doing like my idea development session tomorrow, I should focus on the found family script. I say script, but like I'm still at the ideating stage with that, and just push that forward a bit.
Bye everybody, thanks for coming.